Hey, what's going on? It's me, Deja Vu. We're in the building. Yes, I have another guest. I got somebody up in here already trying to clown, already coming in with the jokes.
Yes.
Godfrey, the comedian.
What's up?
What's up? Now, he said,
Clapping.
Godfrey, you said this is your first time at WBLS?
Yes, I've listened to you guys. I know what you guys are, but I've never been invited. Never been.
Don't say you weren't invited. You're always welcome.
Oh, goodness. She got that voice, that radio voice.
You're always welcome.
This is Deja Vu. We're going with the classics.
That's right.
And now,
that's right.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Listen, but I can get down with Glorilla. We're with Glorilla. Get him, Glow. What?
Oh, yeah.
I still get down with that, too.
I actually like her. I
love Glorilla.
I like her, and I actually like her interviews. It made me like her because she seems such a nice person.
She seems so down to earth.
Yeah. I mean, I'm from the old school, and there's certain people. There's a lot of artists I can't stand from now. It's just, what is this? But Glorilla stands out. I like her. Doechii, I like her.
Doechii's amazing.
I like certain people, personality-wise, stuff like that. Yeah.
All right, well, over here, we want to hear about your personality. Actually, I know you're about to tape your show.
Yes,
your
my special, finally.
At the Apollo. Why is it finally?
Well, my last special was 2017, so it's like I'm so overdue.
So what was the holdup outside of the pandemic?
Holdup was not things not working out with some of these networks. You know, you go, I'm thinking, because I did some stuff with Tiffany Haddish, who's a good friend of mine for years. I was on her second season of They Ready. She had She Ready, then I did They Ready. She wanted me on there because I hosted her live tour. She asked me to host her live tour, and then she goes, "Hey, I want you to do some stuff on Netflix, even though you're not doing a special, but I want you to just be in the family." Boom. And it just, after that, nothing really panned out. And so I was like, I have to find a way to like kind of do it on my own, because a lot of comedians are doing it on their own. And plus, when you do it on your own, you can keep it.
Right.
And then you sell it.
But is it easier now for you to produce on your own?
It is, because of social media, because of your fan base. I raised money with my fan base, which was great, with GoFundMe. Then I had Shaq call me out the blue, because Shaq's a good friend
Diesel.
of mine. Shaq goes, "It's time to do your special." I was like, what? He goes, "Yeah." And so Shaq, I had Will.I.Am from Black Eyed Peas. He gave me money. Yeah.
Wow.
He's a fan. He's hung out with me and my shows. And some other people just donating like money, man. And I'm like, okay, because I don't really ask people for stuff. But then you get fans go, "No, listen, you should start a GoFundMe support. You should have a special. What is this?" Like, and so, so that's how it was sort of grassroots.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's cool. That's part of the testimony, the journey. But okay, so what is it called?
I don't know.
Godfrey.
I think Godfrey live at the Apollo just sounds great, because James Brown live at the Apollo.
Come on now, yes.
That's the highest. That was the highest selling album ever, a live album ever was James Brown live at the Apollo.
Wow.
It was his highest selling. Yep. And also, I think Aretha Franklin's one, where she did it at the church with James Cleveland. Yeah. See, I know my stuff.
Amazing Grace. Look at you.
Amazing,
Okay.
of course.
Come on.
Yeah, I know my stuff, man.
He's already been talking behind the scenes how he knows all the stuff.
I mean, I just study my peoples, man.
I'm not mad.
Even though I'm Nigerian, I'm 100% Nigerian. But I was born here, and my parents came from Civil War. My sister was born in Nigeria, except for me and my brother. Ended up growing up in Chicago. I was born in Nebraska.
Wow.
Born in Lincoln, Nebraska, where my father went to college, went to school there. Straight from Nigeria to college, from Civil War, bam. Then grew up in Chicago. Don't know anything about Nebraska. But we have great people from Nebraska, Malcolm X.
How long did you stay in Nebraska?
I was like a kid. I was a baby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But we have... Gabrielle Union's family is huge. Warren Buffett. And we have Malcolm X, who was born in Omaha.
Okay. So, Warren Buffett, what is he? The Oracle of Omaha. That's what they call him.
Yeah. I've been in front of his house. I took a picture in front of his house.
Did you meet him?
Nah.
Did you go knock on the door?
His
Hello,
his house is real simple.
Well, he seems like it. He seems very realistic and frugal.
It looked like a brown little barn. It's like little, but he owns
everything.
But his house is mad simple. Yeah.
That's pretty dope. Okay, so wait. So now that we've got the Nebraska, we've got a little of Chicago.
Yes.
When did we get to comedy? Talk to us about when you started.
I started in Chicago, I decided in my third year in college. I saw Tommy Davidson came to our college. We hung out. We showed him around campus, and that was when I got inspired, because I was thinking about doing it. It's like, man, you know what I'm saying? Third year college, pre-med psych major, blah, blah, blah. Then when I got back to Chicago, I went away for college. It's only a few hours away, University of Illinois. So I came back, And I said, I'm gonna start doing open mics. Then I started to do it, and I started digging it. I was like, oh, okay, this is it. And I'm gonna make a long story short. I did it with another person. It was I was in a comedy team for like a year.
What is a comedy team? How does that flow?
You do like sketches and stuff, riff off one another,
Gotcha.
like old school black, black comedy groups back in the day. And I did that for like a year, but that was difficult. And then I remember what's so funny is Steve Harvey was the one to tell me to like go solo.
Really?
He will never remember that. I was an amateur comic, and he was performing at this black comedy club called All Jokes Aside. And I was in the hallway, and I was like frustrated with my partner because he wasn't really into it. And Steve was like, "Yeah, you need to cut him. You get rid of him." I remember that. That's when Steve was just not super famous like he is now.
Right, but he was still grinding.
Yeah, still grinding, but he was still headlining and stuff like that. So yeah. So then I just started from there, and then that's when I started doing shows at Bernie Mac's club, at the Cotton Club, Bernie Mac, and and all of this. That's how I ran into the Mike Epps' and
that's
Cedric
all
the
Chicago
Entertainer.
area?
It was Chicago. Well, Mike Epps is Indianapolis. Then you have St. Louis is Cedric the Entertainer. Then I would meet DL. I met Mark Curry. I just all the.
Oh, so you were right there with everybody.
Right in the middle,
without even having to be in New York.
Right. And
or
LA,
I
came up with like Deion Cole, D. Ray Davis, Corey Holcomb, all these guys. Came up with all of them. Del Givens.
Yes.
And all that. Yeah, I opened up for Del Givens and stuff
That's
like that.
That's peak comedy.
Yeah. It was great. And then I moved to New York. After about 2-3 years, moved to New York. And I was right there with the Def Jam days. Mm-hmm. Late 90s. Just in the middle of all of it,
I remember seeing you around, like doing the Talking Head stuff on VH1 and all that.
Because I was doing spring break stuff on MTV when MTV was live with TRL with what's his name? Who was TRL?
The host?
Yeah, the host. Carson Daly.
Carson Daly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Carson Daly. Oh yeah, and Carson became a good friend of mine, and I did that spring break for a few years. Then I was a 7-Up guy for like 2 years after Orlando Jones. Then 7-Up was what do you call it? Was what do you call it?
The marketing campaign,
7-Up was
the thing that led you to it.
Produced. What is it called? Was
with the advertising company?
Advertising for MTV. They were sponsored.
So it worked
they were
all
sponsored,
together.
so I did a lot of stuff with MTV. Then I started doing stuff with VH1 from that, and because it was
kind of synergistic.
Yeah, so I just was in that mix of pop culture and stuff like that.
So what's changed, like with comedy? Is there a different style that you have now? I mean, we hear hip hop has changed in different flows with different producers. Is there something that's different with comedy now?
No,
or is it still the same for you?
I think it's this. You develop your voice at a certain point, and that's who you are. Mm-hmm. Music is different than comedy, because music is. I think it's more people can control it.
Yeah.
But
you're the one controlling.
You're the one
jokes.
controlling. The only thing that they control is maybe your content, depending.
Yeah.
But once you're after 10 years, 15 years, you're who you are. Mm-hmm. You might cater your jokes if you're doing a TV show, you obviously can't say certain things, but when you're live, you're who you are. It's what it is. You established yourself, and then you attract your fans that like your stuff. It's not,
right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's a little different than music. Music gets controlled by some upper echelon people. They'll tell you need to start singing about black people killing each other. You need to sing no positive stuff.
Well,
you don't
talk
want
about
that. Keep that vibration low so we can stay negative. Then there's people that tell you that nobody tells comedians, hey, talk about Black Death. No. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We can actually, and everybody's different, but you control your own destiny pretty much.
But what are you gleaning from? I mean, I know you do a lot of current topics and everything, but is there a specific lane that you like to go to?
I like to talk about race, the psychology behind it. I like talking about, it really depends. Like everyday stuff. But race, I don't mind going into the lane of race and some. People like to say political when you talk about race. Oh, that's very political. Like, political how? Like, talking about race. I didn't do it. I am what I am. I just existed and y'all had a problem with it. So I just talk about it. You made it political because I'm talking about what you did to me. Does that make any sense? So I like to go there. I like to push the envelope. I like to make people feel, oh, why is he saying that? But I do it with a love. I don't come from a bad place. You know what I mean? I try to
Absolutely.
throw in some messages of education. I like to do that. I like to keep it above the rim. I like intellectual comedy, like the George Carlins, the Richard Pryors, the Paul Mooney's. I like those. I like those people.
Did you study them after you said you decided,
Sure.
okay, after my
Yeah.
third year, did you
Yeah.
just go and start watching all old videos?
Yeah, I've
and all
always
that?
watched since college. I've always watched the greats because I think in any art form you should study who came before you. I think it's
Absolutely.
dumb not to. Then don't get that. How you're not into something and not like if you're in a film, how do you not study Gordon Parks? How do you not study
Mm-hmm.
Oscar Micheaux, who was the first black director in America from Chicago,
And
by
own
the
studio.
way?
His own
Yeah,
studio.
Oscar Micheaux. How do you not study Spike Lee? How do you not study John Singleton? How do you not study even if you're just studying Otto Preminger and you're studying
Yeah.
all these other great directors, you should study what your art form is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like Frank Crockett. If you study Frank Crockett, who was a famous DJ in New York,
Mm-hmm.
why don't you study people who? I mean, just to know. Like, why wouldn't you do that?
Some folks don't do it. They think it's the entitlement. It's the I'm saying in this era because everything is just so instantaneous. They think that they
Yeah.
can get out and do what you do
Yeah, but
easily
I-
because they had some views on social.
Yeah, I don't understand that. That's weird to me. I want to know who came before me. Just I want to know history. Why did you want to know the history of? Yeah, it's weird.
It is weird.
Imagine if you go into you go to get a checkup and your doctor just starts working on you and doesn't pull out your medical history.
And
They don't work that way.
That's a good analogy.
They
That's
never
very
work
good.
that way. You go to the dentist, they go, "Oh, you were here last. Let's see," and they know how to assess for you to move forward. Yeah, why wouldn't you? You watch sports. All they do is talk about your past. They go, "Oh,
Of course.
last year he was injured and he was traded to the theater." They're always talking about history. So why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? It doesn't work. It just doesn't work that way in human life to not know what came. Right?
Before you.
Yeah.
So you don't
that's
have
all.
to.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to sound corny, but it's the truth.
No, but it is true.
Yeah.
It is true. All right. So, what other things are you watching? What do you get down with? Are you trying to plan like new TV things, new series?
Yeah, I hit social media pretty hard. I'm always trying to put up content because that's the way of the world.
Yeah, but I think, like I said, I think that's why we see you more.
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Well, I took advantage of that during COVID. I was like, you know what? I was actually watching Damon Dash, and I'm sorry what's happening with the guy now, but I was watching Damon Dash, and I was watching his lives, and his friend was asking him, so what you gonna do during the COVID? He goes, yo, what do you think? I'm gonna create. What you doing? Everybody's at a standstill right now. Nobody's running anything. Everybody just needs some content. And if you're an artist, you're a dummy if you're not creating. If you get off your butt, you should be in people's faces all day. And I took that and ran with it.
That's dope.
It's Dave Dash. Yeah, I
But
said,
people think, okay, so do you have a team that's working with you, or did you do it yourself?
oh, before 5 years, I was myself. It
Yeah.
was just, I just took my phone because we were isolated.
Right.
So
but it is still work,
I
though.
took my phone and just started doing stuff. I said, let me just
Dope.
start doing stuff. Voices, jokes, whatever. And I just posted it. I got on live. I did a lot of lives.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so it worked. It ended up working. It reached Lenny Kravitz. It reached Nas.
Really?
Yeah.
See?
Reached Nas, Lenny Kravitz, Keith Murray, a lot of hip hop people. And it worked. It just worked. Because I was like, you can't. My old manager used to say, when times change, you don't want to urinate against the wind.
Ooh.
You understand?
Yes.
Because you want to go with it. And I did. And it's like, you don't want to be too stubborn. You go, okay, this is technology. You can still be yourself, but on a different platform.
Yeah.
And it works because it's international.
Same message, different
Anybody
medium.
could be watching you. And then you go to a different country, they go, oh, I love your videos. And then you're like, what? And then I started connecting with influencers. King Batch, another kid named Rennie, and all that. I started doing sketches with them. That
That's
started
pretty dope.
working. Yeah. I said, I'm gonna get out of my own way. Let me start doing this. You almost have to have no shame.
See, but that's where you are different from other folks in
Yeah.
that you reached out to them, that you put forth the
I
effort
did.
to do
And
that.
then they were happy that I was reaching out to them. They
Yeah.
said, yo, you want to do stuff? I go, yeah, why not? And it worked in my favor. Like, it was great. And now that's part of my lifestyle. It's a job now to make sure I have content up. Now I have a team
Right.
of people. Because a lot of times I used to get stuff blocked. They would shut down my accounts because of the stuff I was talking about. And but they'll let you do ignorant stuff and you'll never get blocked.
Come on.
As soon as you say, hey, read this book, All of a sudden you're shadow banned, and
All of a sudden you don't have any more. You're not reaching.
You're not
the
reaching
people
anybody.
That
You're 1 million followers, but you have 2 people on your live, and just real foolish stuff. You know what I mean? So, but I have a great team now, and I'm learning algorithms and stuff like that. So yeah,
because it's a whole business side to it.
It
as
is
well.
business,
So,
huge.
Exactly. You can have the funny, but if you don't have that business part, baby.
When one of my first jobs in New York was working for Cosby.
Really?
Yeah, it was his second sitcom, the one Cosby with Felicia Rashad, Madeline Kahn, and I was in Queens. I lived in Queens, and Kaufman Astoria Studios, right next to Sesame Street, and I remember going into Cosby's office and just asking him questions about comedy and stuff. And he was like, I remember he told me, he was like, write it. You got to put it on the paper. You got to write. Writing is the key. You got to put, he's doing the whole Cosby thing.
Yeah.
And then he says, you got to look at the word show business. What is the bigger word, son? Business. And boom. I was like, it's the business. The show is the smallest. The business. Never forgot that.
See?
Yeah.
Everything they want to say.
I'm sorry
he
that what
dropped the
has
gem.
happened to Cosby, but he's the man, though. I ain't gonna lie. That dude's the most brilliant dude I've ever seen. I watched, because I was audience coordinator, so I would bring him out. I would bring the whole cast out. Dr. William, Felicia Rashad, Madeline Kahn. So that's what I did for 6 months. So, and just watch him do work on a sitcom but I was like, yo, he's the real deal.
What did you learn outside of that? I mean, I know you said
Just
you were watching
timing
him,
and writing and subtlety and he's a master. Well, Richard Pryor was influenced by Cosby. People got to understand that. Pryor wanted to be Bill Cosby first.
Because he was clean cut. He was,
he wanted to be Bill Cosby.
Following all the rules and all that. Yeah.
Everybody wanted to be Cosby first. He was the first on TV. The Jack Parr Show. He was there first. Cosby was the guy. People don't understand that. He was the first. Seinfeld bows down to Cosby. You can see Seinfeld's documentary Comedian. I'm in it, actually. He bows down to Cosby. I'm talking about comedy.
The comedy. We're not talking about personal life and all that.
Yeah, and who knows what's true, who knows, but yeah, as far as comedy, he's the king. And then there's Pryor, Carlin, and then,
And those are your
Paul
the
Mooney.
Mount
Those are my
Rushmore.
Red Fox, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So who did you model yourself after with your impressions? How did you first start doing that? Was it just a natural gift, or did you just start
Natural
listening?
gift.
Yeah, because that's how you do it, Shannon Sharp. It's crazy.
Yeah, I could always do voices. I just would do it. Like when we were little. My brother's a pretty good mimic too, but he doesn't care about entertainment. But he can imitate. I think it started from my dad, because we would do his voice, like, hey, what are you doing here? That stuff.
Yeah.
We would just talk, we're Nigerian, so we just imitate our relatives. And so I think it came from and I didn't think I was gonna be a comic at all until college. So I was thinking I was gonna be a baseball player, astronaut.
All those.
Baseball
Were you
player.
on a team really?
I played baseball for a long time, and I loved I loved space, and I was a nerd, super nerd, science, stuff like that. And at least I got to be on Neil deGrasse Tyson's podcast and his TV show, so that was cool. So, I wanted to do that, but comedy, I loved comedy. Yeah, you watch comedy. My mother especially was a big classic movie watcher. That's why I know so many classic movies. Marlene Dietrich. Oh, that's Claudette Colbert. Oh, that's this person. That's, Cary Grant. That's what's his real name? Archibald Leach. That's my mother. My mother was an almanac of old films, and she loved Don Knotts. Woof.
Don Knotts? That's so random.
My mother loved Don Knotts and Bob Hope in their movies, because they were fantastic in their movies.
Yes.
I always knew when my mother was laughing hard, it was Don Knotts must be on. Same birthday as me, Don Knotts. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
Me, Don Knotts, George Wallace, Robin Williams.
When is your birthday?
July 21st.
Oh, really?
July 21st. George Wallace.
That's the comedian birthday.
That's like a comedian's birthday. Cosby's July 12th.
Wow.
So,
and I'm July 23rd. Leo.
Are you really?
Yes.
Yeah, so, man. So that's just that knowledge. My father was a big news guy. It was always news. African men love news. So it's news. He just watched news all day. That's how I knew every newscaster. John Chancellor, Peter Jennings, Walter Cronkite.
But news was big back then because you know what?
It wasn't that many channels.
Exactly.
That
That's
was
what
a big
you
deal.
had your certain sitcoms, and then otherwise it was
like
the news.
Ted Koppel, Nightline.
That's
Hugh
how we
Downs,
know all of
Barbara
their names.
Walters.
Yes. Connie Chung.
I knew all of them. I was
Yes.
like Edward R. Murrow. Edward R. Murrow, you win the award as a newscaster. Edward R.
For
Murrow,
him.
who's from the 50s and the 40s.
Yes.
I know Edward R. Murrow. I know all of that. You know what I mean? That's my dad. So, and he was an educator for 45 years in Chicago. So it
And
was
all
just
that
always,
comes together to get
it all comes
Godfrey,
together. Yeah,
the
that's
comedian.
and that's why one of the main reasons I wanted to be a comedian, because I go, I'll be able to say something. That's a good play. I don't want to be a preacher like that. I'll be able to, like Dick Gregory and those guys. You can get on stage and tell a joke and have a message in it.
Right.
That
Real
was my main thing.
thinkers.
Because I
Dick
was around
Gregory.
funny people all the time. I had funny dudes, funny women around me. But I was like, if I get on stage, I could say some really cool stuff. I could throw in some race stuff, but it'll be covered with a joke. So that's one of the main reasons why.
And so what will you be talking about in your new special?
I think I'm gonna talk about race. Some race.
No, seriously. Do you have any
race
other?
and ethnicities and stuff like that. I always let people just come and see it. I don't really.
You don't say what it's going to be.
Not really. It's like
Is it
weird.
like a secret?
Yeah, not a secret, but I just like people to just come and show up.
experience?
Just show up. Yeah, and
Yeah.
see if it's funny. If it's not, leave. Because
And what happens? Okay, so how? Okay,
Yeah.
when you were first starting or whatever,
Yes.
and you have an off night, how do you get out of that and get back up? Because that's got to be.
You mean an off night? You
With
you
your
do a
jokes,
show and
as
you get
far
off
as-
stage and you go, oh, that was not
That
that
sucked,
good.
yeah.
You keep it moving. I
Yeah.
mean, it happens. It happens. It's almost the inevitable, but
Yeah.
you don't think it's going to happen. It's like a home run hitter. The statistics for a home run hitter, they have the most strikeouts, but they're still known as home run hitters. You know what I mean?
Yes,
So,
because you keep
Michael
shooting
Jordan,
while
that
hitting,
famous
but
commercial, we missed so
that
many
one,
shots.
yes.
Yeah, but people remember your home runs more than the strikeouts, because
Yeah.
they know he's eventually going to hit a home run. So yeah, you just keep it moving because you know you're good and you have more wins than losses.
Of course.
So you go, okay, it stinks, but it's just part of, it's what it is.
It's part of the business.
There could be a whole audience that just doesn't like you because the way you look, you remind them of their ex-boyfriend or you remind them of their son.
Then why
And
are you here?
Yeah, people will come just to be offended. Some
Really?
people come, sure.
And what do you
Some
do with
people
the
come to
hecklers?
judge. Oh, hecklers, that's not a problem.
That's a whole other situation.
That's not it. That's like lightweight work. That's like you really. And I'll tell people, listen, I'm just gonna warn you. You don't want to go at me. I tell them, I go seriously. I'm sick with the mic. I'm surgical. I'll really have you tiptoeing out the club. So I don't bother people because I don't. Some comics mess with the audience. Like
Right.
DL, who I love to death. That's my big brother. DL will talk his thing and then go into the audience. Go, hey, say, what's up, brother? How you doing? And then bop, bop, bop. I don't care for the audience. I have jokes. But if you're heckling me, I go, my man, I'm telling you.
You're not the one
I
or
don't
the
know if
two.
you want to go back and forth with me. And I even warned him. I said, now I warned this person, didn't I? Everyone goes, yeah. I go, I'm telling you, I'm nasty with it. But I don't want to use that. But it's always there for the ready.
It's there in the arsenal.
The
just in
sword is
case.
always like, done. Slice you. You're like, oh, you're bleeding. You didn't know when you got struck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm that type.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
But all my friends, we're all like that. I go, what? You want to go? I'm from Chicago, man. Come on now. The dozens? Are we really doing this?
Right.
Come on, son. Stop.
That's just second nature.
Yeah, I'm like, stop. Stop. And then I'm looking at you. I know exactly what to say. I'm looking at you, looking at your table. Your girl's with you. Stop, dog. Stop. I understand you're upset because you don't have the power to do this. And you mad because your girl's been laughing a little too much. But I'm looking out for you, though. Your girl is getting excited because of my work.
Ooh.
And this makes it easier for you because you ain't that funny. That's why you showed up to see me. See, I'll say stuff like that.
He done went off already.
But I don't
He's
talk about, I
already
don't
gone
call
off
no
on me.
names. I don't do any of that.
Right.
I go, I'm just telling you, my fade is tighter than yours. You can go to my barber. My barber's fire. He's Yusuf, 25 years. He's my man from Morocco. I can give you diamond fades right there on 40th, 39th, and 8th. You want to, I'm just saying, I got a hairline. You mad at that too. I get it. See, I'm picking.
Come
stop.
on.
But that's if someone's
How do you
coming
come
at
up
me.
with it like that? That is, but that's a skill.
It's like you're probably really, not only are you great at this, but everybody has a skill that they're good at, Like paint. I know a lot of my friends, they paint and draw. I can't draw. They just can draw. Like They go, I've always been like that. And it's just a part, I think the brain specializes in things. When you, right? You know, when you do stuff over and over, you have a talent. There's a part of your brain that specializes in something, whether it's singing or whatever, mathematics or whatever.
Right.
And it depends on how you use it. You start to repeat it, and then it gets a suture. Is that the little mark? You know, you get the so that's when it sticks, and from there, phenomenon happens. You know, phenomenon happens where you go, how did you do that? I go, it just happens. Because I worked it so much, the brain
That
just
it just
gives
automatically.
you. That's the mystery of the brain.
Yeah.
I know, I had brain anatomy in college, so I was so, you know.
This dude here, Godfrey, you're all the things.
Am I all the things?
You are all the things.
All the
All right,
things.
so when you're not doing your comedy,
Yes.
what do we do for fun? What are we hanging out? Are
I
we
whoop butt in the streets. I chop. I do karate chops. Chopping the police. Kicking, no, I'm just kidding. I kick butt.
You kick butt. No,
I
but
kick
seriously,
butt.
what do
I
you
don't
do?
think you can say the A word, right?
No, not over here.
No, I know it's BLS.
It's right. It's 107.5.
It's not BS. It's BLS.
It's BLS. No,
the
but when you're
Black
hot,
Love Station.
come on now.
I heard that.
Come
yeah,
on.
no, I already know not. You know not to curse when you meet someone like her. Just real classy.
Listen.
You're gonna be like this. Yes, I kick butt.
Shut up.
I kick booty. I kick
You kick
gluteus
bottom.
maximus.
I kick bottom.
I kick bottom.
Gluteus maximus.
Yes, I do.
I don't talk like that. Get
No,
outta
but you're
here.
classy.
Well, thank you.
No one's gonna be acting a fool around. You know when you see class, you know already.
Thank you.
You know to straighten up and
you.
fly right. Straighten up and fly right. Straighten up and stay right. Straighten up and fly right. Oh my gosh. So cool, daddy, don't you blow your top.
Come on.
Nat King Cole. That's such a
He
great
took us
song.
back. He took us back. All right, so wait, but what are you listening to musically? What do you vibe with?
Old school still. I was just listening to Isaac Hayes when I left here.
Oh,
I was just
wow.
listening to Shaft. I was listening to Shaft, and I was listening to because rest in peace to Sly from Sly and the Family Stone.
Yeah.
I was listening to his stuff yesterday. Greatest hits, Simple Song, Stand, Don't Call Me, The N-Word, Whitey. All of those. Yeah, I was listening to him yesterday. And I listened to old school, like Gangstar, Karis One.
Come on.
I listen to different, sometimes I'll listen to a little Glorilla sometimes.
Right.
I'll listen to
Kendrick, Drake.
Kendrick more. Outkast, just it depends on how I feel. I even listen to EPMD. I vary. Rock, I'll do classic rock. I'll go from the
Yes.
Rolling Stones to Cream I love 60s music. Jimi Hendrix, the Mamas and the Papas. Because my parents, we listen to everything, so I'll go Johnny
So
Cash.
that gives you a well-rounded experience,
Yeah,
though,
my
too.
life is a soundtrack. I feel like listening to Johnny Cash while I'm walking down the street.
Okay.
Folsom Prison real quick. Hello, I'm Johnny Cash.
Come on with that baritone. You know he was real deep with
Hello,
it. He was
I'm Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash, yeah. So it varies. I love all music because it all comes from the same source, which is black.
Oh.
So it's
Talk about it.
That's why.
Which is what he's going to be talking about.
That's
at
why
this
when
Apollo.
if you a brother and you go, man, why do I like this country song? Because it's black origin, and that's all. You just listen to the black chords. That's all. That's what country music is. Country music is poor black people were playing music, and poor whites were like, I want to play. I got problems too. And so
I
they
want to sing
copied
about
it.
my blues, too.
Right, but then they just, marketed it with like these flags, but it was ours first. And African Americans, foundational Black Americans, which I'm not, but I grew up here, but I studied the history of it. But yeah.
And you've had the experience.
I listen to African music, of course, because my Uncle Sam, I had a famous singer, Uncle Sonny Okosun, when I was growing up. He was very famous. He played with, if you know, Fela.
Yes, Fela Kuti.
And all those. My uncle knew all of them. They all were around at the same time in Nigeria in the 70s and 80s. And my other a cousin who just passed away, Onyeka Onwenu, who was an activist and a singer.
Oh, wow.
So I had that in Nigeria. So yeah, so we listened to that. It was everything, just everything. Latin music, come on. That's African based.
Yes.
Stop. So I love all kinds of music. Arabic music. I just love world music. Everything is good.
Okay.
Yeah, man, that's
Well,
me.
it's all good. Thank you for
Yes.
stopping by. But wait.
Thank you. Yeah.
Before you go.
Yes.
I like to ask some words of encouragement. What if you were a rising comic or somebody who's just trying to get into the industry? What would you advise?
Oof. Oh, the industry is so different now.
It is different now.
And
But what
I
have
don't
you
even
learned
know.
that they could...
I can't even tell them how to get in because it's so, I don't know, because knuckleheads are in. Hey, social media, bro.
Right.
There's social media people be on red carpets because they got followers.
Oh, that's true.
And there's people I know in acting school studying the craft can't even get an audition. So I can't. All I can say is you just look at every avenue. If you want to be an actor, first of all, if you want to be go to acting class, take an acting class. I mean, do the social media too. And I wish I knew. I guarantee you, if I knew the answer, I'd have 10 sitcoms by now. But I'm still a guy still trying to, and I've been doing this 25 plus years.
Wow.
But I just say be yourself. I don't want to be corny, but yeah, be yourself. Believe in what you stand for. That's what I say. Don't compromise yourself. Because you will pay in the end. If you don't want to do something, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Because you see some of these celebrities now breaking down. They're losing because they did stuff that they weren't supposed to do. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I go, something spirit, there's some broken
You
spirits.
can tell.
You can tell.
I can see some of it, not just with comedians, but like with some of the artists.
Actors, yeah, you can tell.
The singers and
they're broken.
You can tell.
They're just like shells because all this
we'll say one off mic, but yeah, we'll know.
But no doubt. But I just like to be able to go to sleep and wake up going, all right. You know what I mean?
Right. With a sense of integrity.
No stains on my bed sheets.
Nothing going on.
Let's get out of here.
All right.
BLS.
Wait. And one more thing real quick.
Yes.
You talked about business. What would be the thing that you would say about a hustler's tip for somebody learning in the business of comedy, making the money? How do you survive between the tours and all that?
All I've been doing is, which I've been blessed with, people get caught up in comparing you to like people like a Kevin Hart, who's my buddy, Kevin Hart. And I go, if you're making money and making a living, you're a success, man.
Right.
You're a success, man. To do this, and I remember I didn't have any money. I was working at a grocery store in college and finishing college doing comedy. I have nothing. I came here, nothing. I was broke. I was sleeping on my manager's couch and just hustling, and the fact that I'm living on my own and, I live in New York.
Right.
And I'm living in Manhattan. Telling jokes. I used to write it on a napkin like, wow, I wonder what this is going to, and that your joke is international now, that something you wrote on a napkin. That's a blessing, for real. I'm not even trying to sound like, that corny stuff that people do. No, for real, I go, nah. Even during that strike, the actor strike. Remember the actor strike?
Yeah.
I was working. I was on the road. They were like, "There's no auditions." I go, "Oh, I just made a gang of money."
Come on.
In North Carolina. I'm not feeling no effects of that because I took care of the art form. You got to take care of the art. Take care of that. And that's what I say for comedians, take care of that stand-up, man. You have to be on that stage working that art because you cannot, I don't care how many followers you have. I don't care. They got to see you live, bro. If you don't got the hours in it, because social media has, my father used to always say, don't put the cart before the horse. And now the cart is actually before the horse with social media. People will get 10 million followers, then book themselves at a comedy club, and people go, oh, all right, we're going to see him do, they watch you do sketches. They didn't want you to do live. You're in a time continuum where you got to tell jokes from an hour, and they're waiting for, all right. And then you had some other comics that were actual real comedians. They killed it. Now you got to show yourself, and all you got is sketches. You can't do a sketch on stage. So I say, really study the art form and respect it, because it will disrespect you if you don't put the time in. That's facts. I was an athlete, and it's just like athletics. You got to show up to practice. You got to show up.
Come on.
You still got to play. You still got to bounce the ball. You still got to tackle. You still got to swing the bat. Doesn't matter what, how many followers you have. You still got to stand there, and you got to go to the gym. You still, same thing.
That's going to do it for me, Deja Vu. I am on my way out of here. Godfrey, the comedian, is actually hanging out with me just for a second, and he's going to really be hanging out.
Am I talking?
You are talking.
Yeah,
the mic is on. You want live. Come on, son.
Deja Vu. Come on, son.
He told me I don't talk that way.
Where
he
you
wants me to
from?
talk like this.
Are you from here?
Well, I am now because I've been here forever, but
Me too.
Originally from Florida.
Okay.
So
what part of Florida? Tampa?
No, actually, my sister's in Tampa, but I am from Duval.
Oh, Jacksonville.
Come on with that 904.
I do the Comedy Zone over there. It's old.
Exactly. That's an old
It's in a
club.
Ramada. And I thought Ramada was the name of the family that owns it.
Oh my gosh.
It's not. I thought like the Ramadas.
Yeah.
Oof. I looked it up. It's a shelter with no roof.
That's
And
what the
opened-
word Ramada means?
Ramada means like a shelter with
Wow.
no. Yeah, I looked
See?
it up. I like looking up stuff.
He likes looking up stuff,
I
and he
can't help
likes
it. But
being
anyway,
recorded.
Duval.
Duval. Wait, but when is your special? At the Apollo. Thursday.
Thursday, 6 and 9 p.m. I think the 9 p.m. is sold out, but you can get tickets for 6 p.m. Go to Ticketmaster or ApolloTheater.com, whatever. And yeah, it's going to be fun. It's a taping, so I'm recording my hour special.
So look like you got some sense when you come out there.
Look, and if you're sensitive, don't show up. Just don't come. No. I'm gonna curse. I'm cursing. I'm talking about race. I'm just gonna be myself. And if you don't like it, just don't come. If you don't like religious stuff, don't come. You know, if that just don't stink up the place with your bad vibes.
Oh my gosh. Godfrey, thank you for stopping by. And we'll be
Thank you.
talking. You'll be able to watch the entire interview at WBLS 107.5 NYC. Just Nick is up next on WBLS. Peace.